against Jund. I was watching Kevin play his deck earlier today, and he's got 4 Talrand's Invocations in his deck.
Hey, when you mean it, you mean it.
When you mean it. Now, among people who are experts in 2/2 flying blue tokens,
yes,
there are a few who are experts in that quite as much as the man on my right, Adam Prozik.
I've been known to. Usually my 2/2s are made not with Talrand's Invocation, but Talrand himself.
DJ Talrand?
DJ Talrand himself.
Yeah.
So when I say Kevin means it, he means it. His Anthem effects are, you would expect, Intangible Virtue, but he's gonna spice it up with some favorable wins.
He's got 2 favorable wins. Kevin was on the draw here. Nicholas's Jund list, meanwhile, is similar. Not the same to what you guys were playing last week, you and Lauren Nolan.
We played completely different decks.
That's true. But even between the two
But we've seen a lot of Lauren's deck, not a lot of my deck.
Sure. Nick is has mulliganed to 6, by the way, for everyone playing along at home. Kevin played a turn 2 Augur of Bolas to be the first non-land play of the game.
Got himself a Tragic Slip for his troubles. I'm sure he didn't have too many options if that's the card he chose.
Yep.
Augur Bolas battling for 1. But you can expect things like Lingering Souls, Midnight Haunting. He has 4 Unsummon, 3 Tragic Slip. He has 1 copy of the Lord of Innistrad himself.
Which will be very good against Nicholas's many mid-rangey creatures, as well as Vraska's and Garruk Relentless. Both of the black-green planeswalkers in the format.
Yeah. Alright, so we have a Forbidden Alchemy from Kevin.
That's a card that's not really seen basically any play after rotation.
The reason is there's no Water Grave yet.
Oh, sure.
Huntmaster only sees play because decks happen to be Jund. And
because you're playing the black, the red, and the green for various other things.
Right.
Nicholas is actually running Farseeks. Is his main, other than Thragtusk, he's running Farseek as his main reason. Yeah, well, Huntmaster's the 3rd most important green card in the deck, maybe. It's probably less important than Garruk and Vraska. It's probably just in there.
I mean, I think these Jund decks are a mix of all the colors.
That's a fair assessment of what the Jund decks are, but the importance of the various colors being what they are.
Kevin made an intriguing Forbidden Alchemy play of immediately binning 2 cards, 2 of his 4 cards, before deciding on his 4th card.
On his 4th card. Or on his third card.
Yeah, so, right. So, Kevin's going to play Lingering Souls here.
Those are some interesting tokens.
Oh, man, he throws them aside at the disgust on having to use the Star
City Games tokens.
Yeah, which look better, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Star City Games tokens are available at Star City Games when you order orders now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you're saying if I go to StarCityGames.com and place an order, I get 2 free tokens with my order?
2 free random tokens with your order.
That's awesome.
Including the new 4/4 Angel.
Nice.
Which has not been seen before. Not been available before.
I've seen it.
Well, we've seen it.
So now you have Angels and Spirits?
You can now have Angels, Spirits, Soldiers, and there's 2 others. Zombie, I think. I could be wrong.
Okay.
And Wolves. Right, the Wolf token.
Speaking of tokens in play.
Right.
That could be available. Well, then why isn't that a Star City token?
I don't know. I got thrown off by it.
Somebody's slacking. Alright, so Nicholas passes, flips his Huntmaster, and earns a Tragic Slip on his Huntmaster once the Spirit Dying triggers Morbid. And Intangible Virtue powers up just the Spirit, but that's enough to get in for 2. And pass back to Nicholas, and Nicholas has all the options in the world.
Yep.
Interesting to see that he opted to pass on his with his Huntmaster.
Yeah, he just wanted to flip it, I guess.
Maybe he wanted to draw out the Tragic Slip.
Yeah.
That might be.
Now we have Olivia Voldaren. Olivia's got gotten a lot of publicity recently as being the 4-drop du jour. With its powerful abilities, there she is. She's able to deal damage to creatures and gain control of the ones that you can't outright kill. One of the better ways to deal with a lot less troll.
Yeah, okay. I was like, don't you make 2 tokens of Lingering Souls? But
so he played Intangible Virtue, Lingering Souls. Kevin did on his turn.
Good thing this isn't block.
Yeah.
Constructed. Otherwise, Kevin Jones would be banned.
Well, so disqualified.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that typically when you start a new standard season, you start where the last block ended.
Left off, and if cards are
banned, if cards are too good in block, oftentimes it's a good place to start in standard.
Sure.
So I'm a little surprised there aren't more tokens decks floating around, but
I think once again, Lingering Souls suffer the problem of not the greatest mana.
Of no Godless Shrine.
No Godless Shrine, yeah.
Nicholas with multiple Thragtusks, a Zealous Conscript, which is not particularly good against Kevin.
Can't imagine.
And a Farseek. Just the 2/2 coming in. It's going to get blocked by a 3/3.
If I'm Nicholas, he paid 2 life for his Overgrown Tomb. I might have preferred to wait until he made the attack, because he might not want to. Because he ended up wasting 2 mana this turn. It's not a total waste because you can grow the Olivia,
right?
But
I think he was planning on doing that regardless.
Yeah. I think it's totally insane that Olivia not only shoots things and steals things,
but gets bigger.
Pays 2 mana to get bigger.
Yep.
Counter-wise.
Open at 11 a.m. If you'd like to participate, please make sure you're here.
So Olivia ticks up once again.
All right, so
the flying planeswalker, basically. Kessig Wolf Run.
Yeah. What is Kevin planning? Is it because I know he has a favorable wins in his hand? There's another Midnight Haunting, maybe.
I guess to just try an alpha, to just try and get in there with one big swoop.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's not a very strong play for Nicholas to, or it's not a strong play for Kevin to just not play his favorable wins.
Right.
All right, so
he's going to take one of the spirits.
That should not be a trade.
That is not how that works.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
There we go. Get it out. Ah, I see.
So we're going to Snapcast, right?
Unless he already just has another one.
He has another one.
Perfect.
I see.
Doesn't actually do anything.
Well, now the spirit is a vampire, just in case he gets to 9 and wants to steal it immediately.
Sure.
9 is not outside the realm of possibility.
Considering he has 8 right now.
Considering he has 8, yes.
Alright, so Algor Bolus going deep. And whiffing.
That'll happen sometimes.
So I played against a tokens deck in the Cincinnati Open. And I had Golgari Charm in my deck.
Ah, nice. That's a nice one. Being able to either wipe tokens or destroy intangible virtues.
Yeah. Got it. I had it all.
Yeah.
Also sever the bloodline.
Nice. Well, that's a pretty good one too.
Is that in Nicholas's deck?
That is not in Nicholas's deck. Nicholas has Mizzium Mortars in the main.
Okay.
As his sweeper. And that is it.
The old Dreadbore.
He's running 4 Dreadbores. Not very good against Kevin. So 1/4 of a Lingering Souls is going to trade with a Thragtusk here.
1/2 of the Thragtusk.
1/2 of the Thragtusk, sure.
A couple extra damage comes over from Kessig Wolf Run and Trample.
Yep. It's going to be 3 extra.
Yeah, so...
and here's another Thragtusk.
Thragtusk's brother comes to the rescue. Snapcaster Midnight Haunting. Impressive. That's actually really strong. It's got to be Midnight Haunting.
Yeah. There's Midnight Haunting. The instant speed white token producer for 3 mana puts 2 1/1 white spirit tokens with flying onto the battlefield.
And it even has flashback if you draw Snapcaster Mages.
That's right.
Kevin's wins are going to get favorable.
Nope,
no.
they're just going to be more intangible than before.
Yeah.
There's Intangible Virtue. The banned enchantment in Innistrad block.
Yeah.
Creature tokens you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance.
I definitely can't touch this.
That's right.
So he's looking at a hand of Dreadbore, Zealous Conscripts, and land. Probably not in the greatest shape I've ever seen.
Yeah. All of this targeted elimination not doing wonders for Nicholas.
Nonetheless, he's lining up something.
I think he's thinking about this Zealous Conscript, although I don't know what for. Maybe just to take a token so that he doesn't get stonewalled by 4/4s.
Okay, so
we're going to keep all our tokens alive as best we can. We're going to give...
Well, Kevin knows that if both of his tokens live, I believe he has a favorable wins in his hand, and that will end the game.
I mean, the game is over as is, correct? With the 2 flyers?
Right. So...
Oh, he has 2 extra mana that we didn't know about.
And sometimes people hide their...
Well, we have a Snapcaster at end of turn.
And Tragic Slip,
and
that'll be 6.
That'll be 6, and the favorable wins will be the game-winning enchantment. And that is game 1. So Kevin Jones with Esper tokens taking down game 1 against Nicholas Heel.
So when we go to sideboard, it looks like Nicholas has some big game over there.
He does. He's got Duress, which is very important against the tokens deck.
Yeah.
He's also got the Golgari Charms, which you were espousing.
Yep.
He's got Abrupt Decay, which will help.
Which is a disenchant.
Which is another disenchant, absolutely. And I imagine that's it. I don't think that we're going to see Falkenrath Aristocrat, Slaughter Games, Liliana of the Veil, or the extra Zealous Conscripts.
Yeah. For Kevin, he has, he has 3 Knight of Glories. I don't think that's coming in. And his 2 Detention Spheres, 2 Dissipates, 2 Brains.
Appetite for Brains.
Appetite, yeah. So
yeah.
that
will take out Thragtusks and Olivias and Huntmasters. Pretty much only the creatures and the Planeswalkers, I suppose.
Right. So I think we'll see some light sideboarding from Kevin.
Yeah.
Like I don't imagine, even though Tragic Slip was solid that game, I think that Detention Sphere is just a strict upgrade, except for Augur Snapcaster purposes.
Sure.
I could see some of the Dissipates or whatever. Ultimate Price is pretty bad. There's 1 copy of that in Kevin's deck.
Yeah, when your only target is Thragtusk for Ultimate Price, that's not a great place to be.
Not willing to pay the Ultimate Price.
Nope.
To kill Thragtusk.
He's got an Urgent Exorcism in his sideboard.
No, that is true.
That's quite an interesting one. I don't think it'll come in here. It's just an interesting thing to note.
It's a 2 mana erase.
It's 2 mana, destroy a spirit, or exile a spirit or an enchantment.
Why would you want to exile a spirit? What kind of spirits can we exile?
With Urgent Exorcism?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Now you're making me think.
Right, like Strangleroot Geist.
Sure, Strangleroot Geist.
Dungeon Geists.
Right.
They can't get Geist to Saint Traft.
Can't get Geist to Saint Traft.
I don't think anybody's playing Chapel Geist in Standard.
No. And if you could, you'd probably just play Sunspire Griffin. Just so that you couldn't get Urgent Exorcism.
Yeah, that'd be something to play around.
Yep. In deck building. Somewhere to go with that. So, yeah, I think very light sideboarding. What do you think about the Negate? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of counter spells Kevin will want. I feel like some are good. He definitely wants some. I actually kind of like dissipate over
negate.
Over negate, like even main.
Yeah.
He's got 2 syncopates as well, but it's also good to mix up your counter suite. If you have like say 10 counter spells and they're all syncopates, your opponent will play around play around a syncopate and not need to worry about anything else.
Right.
But if they're like all dissipates, whenever you have 3 mana extra. So it's good to mix them up to just like, all right, this spell will get countered by syncopate, but not negate or dissipate. But so that you know what you have, but your opponent doesn't know what you have. So there's an advantage to switch, switching it up.
Nicholas's Dreadbores and Pillar of Flames in his main deck, as well as Tragic Slips, are probably coming out. Targeted elimination, not particularly good against a deck that produces 2 creatures with every spell it casts.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3.
He's
when
probably
it's a
gonna have to keep in some of them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Maybe he just brings in like something very narrow like Liliana. He also has a very bad Zealous Conscripts.
Yes.
Like you could bring in something like relatively bad like Liliana.
So Nicholas is on the play. He leads with a Blood Crypt. Kevin leads with Drowned Catacomb.
Well, we know that Nicholas kept in at least Dreadbore.
Yep. Did Nicholas mulligan?
Alright, this is a pretty stacked hand from Kevin. 3 lands, although they all come into play tapped so far. One of the downsides of running Esper. But there's Lingering Souls, Intangible Virtue, Unsummoned, Tragic Slip, and Tolerance Invocation. I would have to imagine that the Intangible Virtue is going to hit the bin.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, Nicholas seemed to keep a relatively poor hand for the matchup. There's 2 Dreadbores in it.
Yeah.
Oh, so the Tragic Slip went down.
Interesting. I guess he saw how slow the hand was and decided that that was going to be the choice.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Nicholas has picked up a copy of
Huntmaster
Olivia and Huntmaster.
Yes. So he's going to need to find a land at some point, which he does not. And he quickly passes the turn back. So all those lands coming into play tapped was fine.
Yeah. But I think if you're Kevin, I think you have to keep a hand like that.
Yep.
That's just like super excellent. If you draw a basic or a Hallowed Fountain, and it's still like minus a turn behind, he's still doing like reasonable work.
Right. A fairly mediocre Dreadbore to take out a quarter of Lingering Souls. Talrand's Invocation. Talrand's Invocation, of course, being the M13 sorcery that pairs along with Talrand Sky Summoner to make 2 2/2 Drakes.
M13 Limited All-Star.
That's right.
Probably the best uncommon in the format. I think a card, if it's like a reasonable card and not just like a tapper, like Barter and Blood type card.
Right. This is a 4-power flyer.
Right. Anything that's a threat.
Yeah.
That's the best card in its limited format. Is probably worth a look in. Constructed. And Nicholas seems to be in trouble quite a bit.
Appetite for your brains. All the targets.
Yep. You can have anything.
So what's the most relevant thing here? The Olivia?
I believe so. Maybe I could see an argument for taking out the Vraska, but because the Vraska will just kill the Virtue. And that's a lot of Kevin's offense is based on the Virtue. But I think I would go with the Olivia. He hasn't. Basically, you kind of look and can you beat?
Yep, he did take the Vraska.
Yeah.
So he decides that he can beat an Olivia.
Right. You take a look at your hand. So you can I race / beat if he plays Olivia? He has an unsummon to make the math like very easy.
Yeah. And another Talrand's Invocation. So yeah, the Vraska definitely being the right choice now that we know that he had a second Invocation and an Unsummon to be able to slow down whatever Nicholas was even trying to do.
This seems horrific for Nicholas.
Yeah, this seems real bad.
Like, I just see all the like good cards that Nicholas is drawing, and they all do nothing.
Yep.
Against Kevin. And maybe I was
Nicholas needs a Ratchet Bomb real bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe just the way, like, I felt, you know, very dominant, and I was playing a Jund deck when I played against Esper Tokens. Like, it's like one of the cool things about this format is like, the card you can play like whatever you want.
Yes.
Basically, but like those decisions have like consequences in terms of like, all right, Nicholas chose to play a lot of this spot removal. Well, his Esper Tokens matchup is like
it's not going to be very good.
And like Huntmaster makes it like poor as well. But like, is that enough on his radar so that he's willing to take the hit in that matchup?
Yeah, I think that especially with last week's results of all of the Jace Tameo decks, it makes sense to not. It makes sense to hedge against Planeswalkers and not tokens.
Yeah, he's been playing some percentages, but like, he's also in like quite a bit of trouble.
Well, right
in this
now he's
matchup by
taking
not
11
playing,
from
like,
Flyers. Sure.
A ton of, you know, super flexible cards. You know, doing what he target. Also, I had Mutilate in my deck, which would be a complete blowout here.
Yep, and that'll end it.
That was
So
a quick
Kevin
match.
Jones, who was the man who got paired up here,
Yes.
is victorious.
Nicholas, yeah, Nicholas was now both players are 7-1.
Right.
So both players are at least in like a position, but may not be able to draw next round.